Hey there, everybody. Today I wanted to try something a little different. The visual changes to the application are um, underwhelming, if not completely dull. So, reading some text about them and looking at pictures probably isn't the best way to really excite people about what's going on in the project. So, I figured I'd make a quick video and show you what has gone on. It is quite simple. As you can see, I have uh, here's a title screen, and from here I can get to the help screen, the option screens, or do a new game. Um, right now, once you get to a new game, it basically is like switching to the other way, and it stays there forever. But if I hit F1, go to the help screen, which isn't much help, but I can then go back, and the option screen I can also go back. So there's nothing earth-shatteringly cool about this. And then if I go F2, we're playing again as usual. And then from here you just restart. So there's no way at the moment to get back to the title screen or to the help screen. Eventually, you'll be able to hit F1 from here. You'll go to the help screen. The help screen will have the whole idea of the help screen is you'll have a brief statement of your goal. You'll have lists of the little icons and what they mean. And that's about all the help I intend to give a player of Maze Explorer. So cool. And also, I don't know that I've put a link to the Trello board on the blog or not. But here's a Trello board. I highly recommend Trello for organizing anything. Also works really good for a team collaboration project. And on my Trello board, you have links to all of the things over here in the project. You click here, and you have hey, that's where my repo is. That's where my blog is. That's where my YouTube videos is, and the blog. I have recently updated. I use labels a lot because I like to visually just say here's a color and here's, so I can just really look and go, hey, these are in green, but it's in progress. I got very simply features in progress and features remaining. These other ones I know exactly what I have to do. I don't have to make any decisions anymore. Yellow is I mostly know how I want to do this. So finding monsters, I have a good idea. I just haven't really done anything yet with it. I'm uncertain is something like, okay, some of them are completes the quest. I don't even know what that means. I put that on my list of features, and I'm like, what is the quest? Is the quest to rescue the love interest? Is the quest to gather all the treasure, defeat all the monsters, find the amulet, because here's the amulet, and what does invoking the amulet mean? And fulfilling the prophecy, what does that mean? So all these other things, and then some of these other things, these are the other games of this nature have things like this. A different game that I have that I wrote that is very similar to this, at least conceptually. It'll have shops. It'll have secret doors. Because I don't think I put secret doors in that one. Going down the stairs. Use teleporters. So they're cool ideas. Don't know if it's appropriate for here, and also you can't just feature creep forever. You gotta. The way I would say it, you gotta pinch off. Leave that to you. But I figure while we're in here, I can show some of my code. Here's the if you look over in the Solution Explorer, before I just had renderer and input. Now render and input are pretty much a multiplexer just to send things to the appropriate redraw, or the appropriate, in the case of input, the appropriate input handler. And yeah, if you're an F# person, you'll you will appreciate that I lined up my arrows. It's not lined up everywhere in this case. I'm like, this is getting ugly. And really, if I'm gonna do this right up in here, make it I should really make it more of this sort of thing, because I'm using it at times having to explicitly state which one it is. But alright, but show you a. Well, and also, most of the cases, well, first thing I made stubs. I said, okay, well, just go to the appropriate redraw function, only to find out I don't care about graphic. I don't care about the graphics being passed into redraw. It would be important, except that everything goes to frame buffer. And I know I haven't really discussed too much what it is I do underneath in the UI. So, well, hey, let's take a quick little view at that. So when I redraw, and I no longer even need this, this is junk of poo-poos. Alright, we get rid of that. Everything goes to frame buffer. And frame buffer is over here in the UI, and it is more or less a global. So, frame buffer, well, it's not, I just clear it, I render strings, and I render tiles. And that should be a small r, I think. I'm not sure. Ask the F-sharp idiom police whether or not that should be a capital R or small r. I don't know. But so, there's just one frame buffer, and it is the height and width of my frame buffer size. Eventually, my idea was I was going to put something where you call into this and make a frame buffer, but for the purposes of this, I only need one. So that's that. So everything, so it's basically a bitmap, and I have graphics from the bitmap, and I have a couple of helper functions for saying, hey, render this tile. Well, it's also very aligning it to the width and height of a cell. So I just say, here's my tile position, render my tile. But in the case of other, close that guy out. We don't need these guys. In the case of a title screen renderer, I have here is a list of some texts that I need to draw, and my function is, here is my stuff. And so all this is doing, and since game state is a discriminated union, the way that you discriminate on undiscriminated unions is with a match. So I don't really need this function. My draw title screen can be called directly from renderer for a title screen, and I'll be in the process of moving that around. But it just goes to show the evolution of code and how the functions bubble up to the top and go, here's a function that does something, just use the function. But also, so we'll take a look here, and we'll also take a look at the help screen renderer, and I'm going to look at it side by side here, and I notice something really important. Here's some strings, here's a function that's nearly the same as drawing the title screen. This, of course, I'm going to eliminate and just call draw help screen. But this is practically identical other than what's getting passed here. So I don't need to do it this way. It's better just to have one function that passes in the particular content. And maybe there's a map that goes from which or maybe there's a match that I use to go, hey, what's your content. But in any case, this has got to get cleaned up. But the general terseness of F# goes, hey, there's something wrong here visually. I'm writing too much code. I'm doing a copy pasta. If I'm doing a copy pasta, I've just done something wrong. The options screen, option screen, same thing. And so really title screen, help screen, and option screen going to be about the same. Main difference, and maybe not, main difference with help screen is it also needs to use tiles. So some of these tiles, and over down here in my Explorer tiles, where I have, here's my treasure, here's my shop, so I'm going to need to use these. But what I'm going to do is a similar idea to this, and go, here are all the tiles I want and where I want them. So just have here's the where I want, and then I'll just have a reference to the tile. And so that'll be cool. And then a similar thing here. And maybe I do want some tiles elsewhere in the on some of the other screens. I don't know. But in any case, this is because I wanted to avoid what has already happened here. And because here's when I'm drawing the game screen, this is its own weird problem. Mostly for the entire maze, I call render room, and then I render the tile. But all of my status stuff, so clear the screen, render the maze, render the guy, and then everything else is show the status. This is yuck. I don't like it. It's too long. And also here's this ugliness. This is so very not the F-sharp way to do these things. This right here is most likely this right here would best be done as an active pattern. And hey, we could do that one of these times. But not right now. I'll do a make active pattern. So yeah, there's all kinds of opportunity for cleanup. It's kind of embarrassing. Maybe I should show the code on the video more often, because yeah, some of the stuff's like, ew, what are you doing? And this one right here, I have no need of this. I just need to, when I'm doing my match, it always renders the tile. This could be down here, except that I have this, and that's the thing. But this part could be wrapped up in another function, where I just take whatever that is and send it to something that passes location, rather than doing this whole rigmarole. But yeah, so that's some of the code behind it. And at this point, look over in the Solution Explorer again. The whole game is right here, and all of the rendering and input gathering happens here. I consider audio rendering to the speakers, if you will. So there's not just one form of rendering. Yeah, pardon me while I line things up vertically. It's a very, at first, when I first started F#, I'm like, I ain't doing that. That's stupid. But it is idiomatic to come up with. Now you can really get ridiculous with it too. I will sometimes do this. This is not necessary at all. It's mostly, hey, line it up vertically. Yeah, hey, this is all the sound code. This is it. The whole thing. And also, here we go. Because this stuff is unnecessary. So yeah. Maybe have a code cleanup session now. That would be thrilling. Cleaning up the code and explaining why things look the way they do in F#. And this is, I've come to use this a lot as my method of initialization. It's like I've got this discriminated union, I've got this stuff which needs to have something else done here. Because I could have put the new media sound player such and such here, but a string is so much simpler, and you go. And so reading, I come here and I read it. I go, okay, for acquire loot, I play loot.wave. For acquire sword, I play sword.wave. And it's so much simpler to read, and yes, I can let the plumbing of sequence.map go there and then make a map out of it. Which makes the, hi, play this sound. Here it is. Here, be cool and play. Of course, not checking to see that a sound player exists. It's just assuming to say, hey, it's gonna be there. It assumes it's gonna be there. So, yep, that's what we got. And I think next time, again over at the Trello board, I think next time we're going to take a look at a more complete these things, and then also the ability to go from the game screen to the help screen to the option screen, and then also some options. One of the things that I want to do is come up with what are my options? Options I want to set. Number 1A, I totally want sound SFX toggle and volume. I don't know. I don't know anything about sound player, but dot new media sound player. I'd have to learn about sound player to see if there's even a volume. But at the very least, in my option screen, I want to set volume. But the screen is called options, and having just the sound effects toggle is an option. And let's be plural. If we're going to be plural, let's actually have something that is plural. So if I don't have volume, if I just have a toggle, I want something else. And I was considering, well, this is the, so I have the difficulty level. I don't know that that's here or, there we go. Yes, you can see that my background screen, I've been playing Reap, and I have that color background. This is how I roll. Difficulty level. Of course, I don't know what the difficulty level means yet. And then, see, I want a, more or less the second you can get to a help screen or options screen, you've effectively given yourself the ability to pause the game. So hardcore, no pause mode. And I also think, so let's actually add that here. So hardcore, no pause mode. And I also am going to need the paused game state. But this, I know save. Okay. I don't need you. Okay, so the label. The no pause state, I do know exactly how I'm going to do it. I will just not let you leave the game once you're in there. So the time ticks. You want to go you want to go pause and go pee? Too bad. Wait till the end of the game. It's not that a game is very long. Anyway. And the pause game state, I also know what I want to do. It's a bit of text that says game paused, and then you hit escape to go back. So I know exactly what I want to do there. And I like to have this stuff sorted from most difficult to least difficult. So the low-hanging fruit's on the top. All right, so sue me. Yeah, so I will see you next time, and thanks so much for watching.